Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Primetime Crisis. We're on week 18 today, and it's going to be much lighter this time around. We can't seem to locate Dan. That's okay, he's probably out fighting with his Imperial Army to take over the channel. And we only have 4 shows to cover. So we'll see how this goes. So to help me talk about these 4 very strange, some really good, some really bad shows, we have the Real Manos.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm just highlighting some of my favorite passages in my favorite book. This is really good.
We have the Curious Low.
Hi, guys.
And we have our chat moderator, Jackson Rasco.
Howdy.
All right, so we only have 4 shows today, and I don't know how many people have kept up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but so I guess maybe the best place to start is we'll say what our favorite was of this 4. I imagine we're all probably going to say about the same thing, and then we'll see whatever questions pop up. I don't imagine us having too much to say about any one of these shows because they all just kind of feel like they're the next chapter of a much bigger story. So Lo, what was your favorite show this week?
My favorite show was definitely The Walking Dead, and I feel like I've said this every time since Walking Dead came back, but it was a really exciting episode. There was, like, gunfighting, which is always fun, and then the really great line of, I wonder which one of them was Negan, and I was just like, oh, you guys have no idea what's coming. You're so naive. So yeah, it was a good episode. It had a great cliffhanger to go into this week, so I'm excited to see where that goes.
Okay, Manos, what was your favorite?
Well, I only watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this week, so obviously my pick was The Walking Dead.
I thought you were going to say Daredevil for a second. Okay, that's fair. Rascal, what was your favorite?
I didn't watch any of these shows.
Okay.
Why the hell are we doing this?
I guess everyone, including took a break.
Hey, Roscoe's just here to moderate the chat. He doesn't have any, like, obligation to watch the TV shows.
Yeah, well, I didn't watch these shows
That's an excuse.
So very lucky. Okay, I don't even know if I'd qualify any one of these shows as a favorite.
Yeah.
I liked Lucifer. I thought that was fun. It's more than just I like that guy's acting a lot, as opposed to it being necessarily a great episode. Because I felt like in places everyone else kind of like dumbed it down, and he just keeps ramping it up. Like I used to like the actress that plays the detective a lot, but today she just came off as kind of stiff to me. I don't know why. So yeah, I'll give it to Lucifer. Rasco, do you have any questions about anything at all whatsoever?
I've got some conversation starters here. So.
Okay, that's what we need right now.
This is from Omari Daniels. This is a Gotham question. Did anyone else take one look at Mr. Freeze's new costume and immediately think of Buzz Lightyear?
Yes. It looks exactly like that.
Like he's got the space helmet and everything. Like he looks like an astronaut. Like there was no tiptoeing around that.
I really want Patrick Warburton to play him now. That would be fantastic. Yeah, Freeze's costume is not that cool, ironically. And the whole thing
You're an honorary Schwarzenegger.
And the whole thing with Nora, I stopped caring after a while. Like, I like the idea that he's not doing any of this with her blessing, and it kind of breaks her apart, both literally and figuratively. But at a point, it just kind of felt like they were doing weird, random CW-esque character drama, and not really, like, discussing anything going on or talking about any of the emotional issues. It feels like the only person in the show who has any idea what's going on is Hugo Strange, which is both terrifying and fascinating.
I liked this episode. I think that I don't know. I think that I've stopped really caring so much if Gotham makes sense and just try to take it scene by scene at this point. But I really liked everything with Lee. I really bought that she was like, no, I'm staying with my patient type of thing, and would see that through to the end. I think it was cool to see her, kind of be back in sort of her like role as like the brave heroine, because I don't know, I like that about her character.
I like that too. My issue is just like it was written really weird. Like, like there's that scene where she's gonna stay with her patient when Gordon's like, "We're taking this to Arkham," and she's like, "There's a right way and there's your way," and I'm like, "Wait, hang on a second." No, she's like, "There's a logical way and there's a right way." Okay, fine. I can make someone believe that, but in this context, you have to make me understand what the right way is when he's doing the logical thing. I don't know what the hell she's talking about. It's really, really bizarre. But no, she's good in the episode. I just feel like the rest of the episode doesn't seem to like match her.
Oh yeah, I mean, I enjoyed her, so it wasn't like
That's fair.
so bad that I couldn't like latch on to anything. And I actually really liked the stuff with Nora. Again, not necessarily written like terribly amazing, but I bought what was going on with her and the sort of like she loves her husband, so she almost doesn't want to see what's going on with him, and
Yeah.
doesn't want him to think ill of her in her last moments, and she just wants, you know, to wear her necklace and like say goodbye to him and stuff. And
I
like I don't know, I bought that.
I like that she's the main character almost. Like Mr. Freeze is always like this really weird one-sided relationship, and sometimes it's interesting like Heart of Ice, but then other times it just comes off as creepy. Here, the fact that we spend so much time with Nora, I think, almost like warms him, which is interesting. And I like his new look at the end when he has like the white hair and the blue eyes.
The eyes looked awesome. I
did.
wasn't on board with the hair. I don't know why, but the eyes looked really cool.
It looks ridiculous, and therefore I enjoy it. Rasco, any other questions?
Yes, we do. So this is from Masked Sci-Fi Fan. This is an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. question. Has the
Nice.
Inhumans subplot been ramping up, or does it feel played out at this point?
They're trying to ramp it up. It's technically ramping up.
Technically.
Yeah, well, they're building it up in the storyline. I can tell. I can understand that. I don't know. It's part of the show. That's kind of all I have. It's okay. Some episodes it's mildly interesting, and wow, I'm really not enthusiastic about that, am I? I can't even fake it.
I really wanna do what Lo did and just like binge this show because I can see what it's trying to do, and I can't tell you whether it's doing it well or poorly, and I just kind of want to see everything at once now.
I'm still really enjoying S.H.I.E.L.D., so
Okay.
I can definitely recommend binging the first bit.
Okay, because I mean, I feel like it makes so much more sense. I just feel like they've got so much going on, and they're so slow about it that it would just make more sense if I had 3 episodes a week as opposed to 1.
It is.
Yeah.
It is slow, and the show is so up and down and frustrating. And I continue to watch it, not just for Geek Illusion. I would watch it anyway. It's just a chore sometimes because the problem is a lot of TV shows do a good job of balancing character and plot. And nowadays, you know, so many TV shows have the plot that keeps you coming week after week, and you know it's supposed to be the one that's really getting you excited and talk about chat rooms and all. Oh, I can't wait for the spoilers and cliffhangers and blah blah blah. And boy, you know, some episodes really they don't have much, and you know they only have so much plot for an episode, and they stretch it out. And unfortunately, they don't invest in all of these characters. They have some really cool characters in these shows, and I don't know. The most interesting character in this episode was the fast lady, who I don't know who that is, but you know, she was definitely the most interesting character in the entire episode.
Do you guys think that the show is going to be better off when it has its spinoff and there's less of a main cast?
No, I don't think there's going to be any change.
What about you, Lo?
I mean, I still tend to really like this show. So I'm really excited for the spinoff. I think it'll be cool. And I really like all the different Inhumans that they've been introducing. And I feel like they've come up with or kind of picked some really cool powers. Like this week's the lady with the like speed, but it was like tied to her heartbeat. Like I thought that was a really clever way to sort of limit her power and make it more interesting than just she is very fast. And I don't know, I've been liking all the stuff they've been doing with the Inhumans, so I'm excited to see kind of what other different ones they can continue to find in the spinoff.
No, that's totally fair.
This is almost turned into an Inhuman show.
Oh yeah, right now it definitely is.
It's weird that didn't become the spin-off as opposed to Marvel's Most Wanted, whatever that's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't not like the show. I just have a hard time caring. Like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes the actors are doing a lot with it, and other times they're not. And sometimes when they're not, the material's good, and sometimes when they are, the material's not. So it feels really uneven, and I still can't place whether or not it's the show being way too slow, or if it really is a different experience if I'm binging it. Because I've had that before. I've watched shows like Dexter where it's brilliant when you're watching it week to week, and then you watch it all together and it doesn't make any sense. And the reverse happens with that show as well. So I don't know if that's true of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I would just have to try it that way.
It's just the show can be some... Yeah, you want to like it, and you try, and it's somewhat difficult. I was just thinking about, you know what the show sometimes feels like? When they have like episodes like this past week, it feels like when it's someone's birthday at work and you barely know them, and they pass the card around to you, and you have to sign something. And you have to say something nice. It's like, oh, God, what's their last name? I don't know this person that well. Hey, you really are cool around the computer lab. I don't know. That's kind of what it feels like. Yeah, you sure do have a face and a name.
Yeah, I mean, there are some parts of it that I really enjoy. Again, like what was that episode where they went to the other dimension and we spent there with Simmons the whole time? That was a fantastic.
That was a fantastic episode.
That was one of the best things we've watched on Crisis. Period.
Yeah, it was awesome, and I wish they did those kind of episodes more. And I'm not talking just strand someone on a planet or something like that.
Just remake Lost with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, just the time and they took with the character, and, you know, they had a story they wanted to tell, and they thought it out, and I got invested in Simmons and in that experience. And
yeah.
I don't really feel that. I feel like every episode, whether it's good or bad or boring, you know, tries so hard to keep us invested in the next episode, which, yes, that's what they should do. But when they don't have much in an episode like this, they don't have anything else that they can use to distract us. Like, you know, like if they don't have much, well, hey, let's make it a fun character episode for this particular character, or do something a little off the beaten path in this episode. Because I'm sure agents, yeah.
And to their credit, when we did the Simmons episode and we got behind her and we understood her psychology, that stuck. Like, I still really like her all the way through this show now. And this show is really good at making characters consistent. It's never done an episode where someone was behaving irrationally based on something we saw them do last time. It's just a matter of, like, we know some of them really, really well. We know others not well at all. And so if it's going to do anything with the spinoff, I imagine part of what they need to do is they need to, like, reevaluate these team dynamics and have more focus on individual characters going forward. Maybe almost like, because I doubt it's ever going to be as good as Firefly, but if it ever does like a Firefly formula, give every character at least like one episode where they have there's a fracture within the team, and we define who they are independently of being part of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm curious as to how is the show going to be affected by Civil War?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to have another episode where we're doing our plot for the show, and then, hey, Captain America did something that really messed everything up. And the whole show I'm wondering if the show will take a left turn like it did last time.
Yeah, that's a good question. Especially now that Agent Coulson is like a sanctioned Black Ops force.
Yeah.
So we'll see if like that plays into anything. The writers of Civil War did an interview earlier this week where someone asked him, what do you think of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now? And he said, and one of them said, I haven't watched it since the first season.
Ooh.
So they don't know what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing at all. I doubt the Inhuman movie writers know what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing. And that's gotta suck for these writers because they want to make a good show. They just have no idea. It's like the cool kids won't let them into the circle. Which is a shame, I think, because you can do a lot of cool stuff here, especially with the fact that Nick Fury revived Agent Coulson, and the Avengers formed because he died, and none of the Avengers know it. You know, they should potentially be talking about that somewhere. Or Coulson should be talking about the fact that the Avengers united because of him. How does that make him feel? Like, that makes him feel important, shouldn't it? And I don't think we've ever talked about any of that.
Yeah, I would think so.
I think they touched on that in season 1. I think they touched on it a little bit in season 1.
Did they? It's been so long since I've seen it. Maybe. Because they had, like, I know they had J. August Richards' character have a kid and who really likes the Avengers, and so maybe they tackle some of that.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I miss Deathlock. He was awesome. Anyway, Rasco, any other questions?
This is from Omari Daniels. Walking Dead question low. What did you think of the group's actions of killing the Saviors in their sleep to prevent a potential future attack? Some feel it went too far, but others say it's justified.
I don't know. I think that's really interesting. I think that that's something that The Walking Dead tends to do, is your good guys aren't always good. Not that that isn't something that other shows don't do, but Walking Dead definitely pushes that a lot, especially with Rick, and making people make really hard decisions, and those usually tend to involve killing people who aren't walkers yet. I was just really excited that there was, like, awesome action, because the previous episode was a little boring. But I don't know, like, it's sort of like having the foresight of what I know comes in the comics. I'm sort of like, they're really smart because the Saviors are dangerous, and especially Negan, and we need to, like, take care of them as quickly as possible because I don't want any of my favorite characters to die. But yeah, it's a tough place, and I can definitely see why some people would say it went too far. But it's a tough world in The Walking Dead, and they have to make the tough decisions.
The one thing I really like about Walking Dead, because it's not one of the shows I necessarily love since I haven't kept up with it, but one of the things I love about it, compared to something like Arrow, where it wants to fabricate this tension of anyone can die, in The Walking Dead, that's literally true. Anyone could die at any moment, and you are never certain of who's going to make it through the episode. There are even points where I'm not even sure if Rick's going to make it. And they do a really good job of ramping up the tension every episode and never letting go.
Well, and they've done it a couple times where they have killed people that didn't die in the comics and, like, replace them with somebody who did. Like, in the comics, when Sophia died, Carol actually died, and Carol's, like, a huge character on the show now, and it completely shifts the dynamic of the daughter dying as opposed to the mother dying. Andrea is still alive in the comics, and she's, like, in a serious relationship with Rick, and that's, like, a completely different dynamic. And obviously we've had some stuff with Rick and Michonne on the show now that would have never happened if they hadn't strayed from the comics. So even if you know the source material, there's still just, like, anybody can die. Even people who are still alive in the comics and super important, like, things are going to change, and it's cool.
Rasco, any other questions?
Yes, this is from Mind the Gap. In Legends, how did you feel about the 50s setting? Also, have you seen the work of the episode director Joe Dante?
Oh, that was done by Joe Dante?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. It didn't feel like it, honestly. That's not like it's a bad thing. It's just like, he's the guy that did Gremlins and Piranha and...
Explorers.
Yeah,
Small Soldiers.
Small Soldiers, Night Vision. He did Looney Tunes Back in Action. Like, he's really, really slapstick, and this episode didn't have any of that. So that's weird.
I liked it. I love the 50s, so I was all about all the fashion. I know what a girly thing to say, but, like, I loved all the different, like, outfits and costumes. I thought they were really fun. So.
I thought this is probably one of the best-looking episodes they had. Like, Star City in the future looked really good, but this actually felt like the 50s for the most part, I thought.
But I liked the dynamic of her having to sort of, like, hide that she knew that like, who she was around Savage, so that she could, like, I don't know, get information from him or whatever. Like, I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
My issue with that was the scene with her, the team, and Ray, where she's like, I'm going to get close to Savage, and then Ray cuts her off saying that, but he might kill you, which is a legitimate concern. And then she suddenly acts like everyone's on her team and he's making it about the relationship, and she wasn't. I don't understand that. That was just a really bizarre exchange. But aside from that, it was an okay episode. I still think the Star City episode might be a little better, not by much, but a little bit. But I did enjoy this one, and I like the stuff with Jax a lot.
I like that they touched on what Snart did in the previous episode and sort of like, I don't know, people kind of questioning his loyalty if he's willing to do that to somebody that he's been close with for so long.
Yeah.
It was just an interesting thing because that's been Snart's character like basically the entire time we've known him, at least on this show for sure.
They clearly have like a different idea of him in mind than what we had with Flash. That makes it tough to like, coalesce everything, but just giving it the credit of if it's its own thing, then it's fine. It's enjoyable. Even when Captain Cold's written bad, Wentworth Miller is awesome. He just loves that role. It seems like.
Yeah, he's super fun.
Any other questions, Rasco? I don't think. What haven't we talked about yet? We haven't talked about.
We haven't really talked about Lucifer.
Lucifer. Okay, see if you can find anything with Lucifer. If not, we can just go with any other question.
Hold on 1 second.
I really liked this episode of Lucifer. I thought that it was a step up because I know we've been sort of talking about how it's kind of been going downhill. Not even that the episodes are bad, but just like
they're not
it's
quite
getting a little. It's getting like a little stagnant. It's like, okay, we get it, procedural cop stuff. Like you can only do that so many episodes before you want more. Yeah. And this kind of moved the plot forward a little bit.
I love everything with the wings. Like, I like how much he both cares and pretends to not care about it. And a lot of the stuff he did in the previous episode when he's talking about the whole idea of the devil made me do it and him trying to be his own person, I think is really working.
And just the fact that he went through so much trouble to get them back just to turn around and set them on fire.
Yeah.
I think says a lot about his character and how he's honestly been acting like a teenager who's like rebelling against his father, and because that's such something that like, I mean, I don't know that all teenagers are like this, but I know me as a teenager was very like parents, especially like a young teenager. I don't know, it just feels like a good representation of him just kind of like throwing a fit and like lighting his wings on fire before he really knows the consequences of what's going to happen.
Yeah, like he's absolutely a child. He every time something happens, he has to be contrary just to be contrary, it seems. And I think he doesn't get that, but everyone else does, and so it makes it harder for them to deal with him. And I don't know, I really like how all that's going. I like the stuff with the other angel, played by B.D. Woodside. Who's really good, even if the action scenes don't seem to be that great in this show. He's really great. I love the whole thing where he's apparently more charming than Lucifer when it comes to the cop lady. I think that's fun. I like that Lucifer is almost kind of jealous of it because he's so much like a kid. Like you said, he's like a teenager. He just keeps like throwing fits. And this getting under his skin, I really enjoy.
And I liked the dad. No, that was last week. Never mind. I was gonna be like the dad promising his daughter chocolate cake, but that was previous. So never mind.
That was fun though.
That was hilarious.
I hope that's a running thing. I hope by the season finale he's like, and no more cake or something.
Every once in a while he just has chocolate cake and gives it to her in the background. Running joke.
That'd be fantastic. Rasco, any specific questions about this?
No one has asked anything about Lucifer.
Well, that's a shame. It's like iZombie weeks.
Okay.
Okay. Well, if you see anything else, go ahead and ask that.
Okay. Here we go. This is from Bamboo. Gotham question. Didn't Selina actually see who killed Bruce's parents? Can't she confirm it was matches?
That's what I thought.
Well, I thought she kind of didn't, like she did see but kind of didn't because it was like nighttime.
Maybe. Oh yeah, because that episode where the shiny shoe thing comes up and that's like all she knows about it.
Yeah.
So maybe she can't confirm it. She can probably confirm like a build, but that's
yeah. Or like maybe if they like had a bunch of people in a lineup, she could like match voices or something like that. But
yeah.
I feel like that was part of her character just wanting to feel important, is that she was like, well, I know who did it type of thing, because that's very Selina in this show.
I mean, I like her a lot throughout the show. Like some of the stuff with Fish Mooney near the end of season 1, I didn't understand at all. But most of what she does about wanting to find something to care about, or trying to make people care about her by finding things they care about, I like a lot. And she's a lot more interesting than Bruce Wayne is in this show, because that kid started amazingly, and now he just it seems like they're giving him material to be stoic Batman, but the kid as an actor just stopped caring. Like he's almost smarter than the writers, where he just recognizes some of this doesn't make any sense. Like his whole conversation with Lee, that didn't make any sense. That didn't flow at all. And
I didn't really understand why Lee was there. And like people on Twitter were like, "Well, she's his doctor in the comics, and like apparently knows who he is, like in the comic continuity." But I was like, okay, but like they have hardly any relationship. Like the two of them never communicate, and suddenly, just at the beginning of the episode, she's like chilling there, like checking up on him and everything, as if that's something that's normal.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. If anything, Gordon should be there with the two of them, since Bruce knows more about Gordon than he knows about Leslie here. It's really weird. That conversation, I didn't really understand. I like that Bruce is training now. I like that he's having trips abroad and learning how to fight. That whole thing with Alfred will kill matches as opposed to him, I didn't understand. That still doesn't make a lot of sense, especially considering the first season when he got his whole "I don't kill" thing. Like they already established that. There's no reason to regress it.
Yeah, Bruce, like the way that he acts, at least, it always seems like he's like circling the drain of villain as opposed to like building up to a hero type of thing. And I get that like Batman in general like tends to have like a slightly darker past, but he's like really going toward villain, in my opinion. Like it seems like everything that he says is just so filled with hate and like so filled with revenge that I'm like, you are like 13, calm down.
Yeah, really. He's, and I mean, I don't really get how this universe is going to function with a Batman going forward if Gordon can take out Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
But we'll see, because this Batman would clearly be a lot more unhinged than the other ones that we see. He'd be like Ed Brubaker Batman, where he just keeps going nuts for no reason. Which would be interesting to watch. I'm not sure if it'd be warranted or good, but we'll see. If the show gets 10 seasons. I hope not. But anyway, any other questions?
This is from Ultron32. What did you think of the major plot development in iZombie compared to every other show this week?
Well, it certainly had better plot developments than all of the other shows. You know, even without there being an episode, I think that the plot is just already so high above everything else that there's no way that anything else could catch up.
It's like a race where iZombie's so far ahead that it just stopped to have lunch, and it still doesn't matter.
I would agree with that, because every plot point, the ongoing story arcs for all the characters, nothing feels forced. Nothing feels like they're trying desperately hard to make it seem exciting or intriguing or tense. Like, no, they just do it, and it all feels natural. And yeah, some of these shows are not able to do that as well.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you get to like the whole roommate drama stuff. I know we haven't been a fan of that going for most of the season, but when Liv finally punches her out, it felt really earned.
That was such a payoff. I was just like, yes! Because we've hated her for so long.
Like, that's interpersonal squabbling that isn't Arrow level bad.
Yeah.
I agree. I felt my muscles like doing that punching.
Right? Yeah.
Motion. You know, when you're so into it.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I got into it when she did that. Like, yes, it was awesome. Yeah, no, iZombie is still leaps and bounds better than anything else we're watching.
And the thing is that Lucifer should be at that level because it has, like, the right level acting. It's got, like, all the bones there, but I feel like it's just not, I don't know, maybe moving as fast as iZombie is, because iZombie has, like, something going on every week that has to do with the overarching plot, and Lucifer tends to, like, deal with it for an episode and then drop it for 3 or 4, and then pick it back up again.
I think what we have is iZombie and Constantine, but back when it was canceled, were both shows that were created by people that love the source material, even if it's very different. They, regardless of what they change or don't change, they really like the show they're making. I think with Lucifer, it's got really good writers, but they don't actually care about the Lucifer comics, so they're just kind of writing well consistently, as opposed to like elevating it with how much they enjoy writing it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. You can tell that everybody working on that show has a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with following everybody on Twitter. They are just ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone from iZombie really loves that show, and Lucifer. I'm not saying that they don't. They just feels like it's more of a job to them than the rest of the shows we watch.
Yeah.
Like even on Arrow, like even Stephen Amell seems more ecstatic about Arrow than Tom Ellis seems about Lucifer.
Yeah, I love how there is not an episode of iZombie yet we're still gushing about it.
Yeah.
That's true. I think it was the best show we watched this week.
It was.
Right, and it's still the show that nobody watches. Everybody, I'm sure, is like, iZombie, who cares?
It got renewed, though, so that's good. I'm happy.
Everything got renewed.
Yeah, I do wonder if iZombie appeals to some non-comic fans. I wonder if its fan base really even knows there's a comic book out.
I don't know anyone that watches it, so I'm not sure.
So, yeah, it might circumvent those comic book fans that aren't watching it with non-comic book fans who are watching it. Could be one of those things. Maybe these fans look at the artwork and the framing sequences and going, yeah, I wonder why they do that. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, because iZombie, the comic, got canceled pretty early, didn't it? So it probably...
It did. I don't even think it made 30 issues.
Oh, didn't? Oh, wow, okay. Because I imagine it got canceled early, so it may have built a following, but it wouldn't be substantial enough to keep the show running forever.
It was canceled like a year or two before the show premiered.
Oh, interesting.
That was one of the things where I was excited about the show, but I was a little also at the same time confused. Like, DC didn't seem to be very supportive of that comic, and they're doing a show.
It's weird that they didn't bump the writer of that onto the show as a staff writer.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I follow Chris Robinson, and he used to write quite a few books for DC. Now, I don't think he writes any books for DC. No.
That's interesting. Rasco, any other questions? Probably not about iZombie, but I don't mind talking about iZombie.
We should talk about iZombie.
This is from Masked Sci-Fi Fan. Did Legends trying to tackle subjects like racism and homophobia go as well as you thought it would?
It didn't go anywhere. Like, they were there, but I don't think they did anything with them.
It certainly didn't pull like a Supergirl where it's like super preachy.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything with them. It wasn't like any characters that were racist at the beginning are not racist anymore. I mean, I guess the nurse that was a lesbian kind of feels more at home in her own skin, but just like the other characters were pointing out to her, like, she's still stuck in the 50s. Like, she's still in a time period that's just not going to accept her, and like, regardless of what happened between the two of them, like, you're not gonna really change anything that happened.
Yeah, I mean, the racism and homophobia was more about it belongs in a certain context, so we have to understand that it's there, considering one of our characters is a lesbian, one of them is black, but that's about it. Like, it was just there because timeline-wise it should be there, and that's about it. Which is not a problem.
Yeah, it wasn't handled poorly by any means. It just didn't do anything with it. It was just there because it had to be, which is fine, I guess. You know,
yeah, exactly.
It's better than doing a time period show and just not addressing that at all.
Right. Now, if this was, not to go back to iZombie, but if this was iZombie and they went to the 50s, I would be more down on it because that show is capable of dealing with those themes more interestingly. But this is the Arrowverse. So the fact that they just presented them is okay by me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Agent Carter, actually, you know, it's a period show, and it dealt with sexism, and it dealt with, in the second season, racism a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it was kind of woven into the universe that she is in at that point in the 40s Marvel.
Right. Yeah, no, that works, and I wonder if because it seemed like they almost shot this episode like a little bit like Agent Carter, where it had the same kind of glossy look to it. I wonder if that was an influence at all.
Yeah, well, if I was directing the episode, I would totally rip off Agent Carter. That would have been a good idea. Joe Dante, we talked a little bit about that. Joe Dante directed this Legends, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, you mentioned how it didn't have a lot of his slapstick stuff, but I mean, he is a big fan of the 50s in that era, so it's going to be shot like that. It's going to be, he's going to bring that to the table.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know he was a big fan of the 50s, but I guess it makes sense now. Yeah.
Did Robbie the Robot show up at some point in the episode? Because he's a huge fan of Robbie.
I don't think so.
Robbie appears in Gremlins, and I think the Back to Action film.
I know he's in Back to Action. I'm not sure if he was here.
Okay.
He may have been, though. I just didn't look for it because I didn't realize it was Joe Dante until someone mentioned it. It'd be fun to rewatch, though, just out of curiosity. Also, by the way, while we're on Legends, the effects for those weird winged monster things looked really good, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was sufficiently fun, action-wise, I thought.
Yeah, no, it was very fun, and they did look very cool. I liked their, beak tooth or whatever it was. Like, it was really unique looking, but didn't look, bad or anything. They did a good job.
It reminded me of the way some of the demons are in the Keanu Reeves Constantine movie, where they're just kind of more... They're more like David Cronenberg-y weird human alterations as opposed to being, full-on inhuman.
Yeah. Not to be confused with Inhumans for making the show.
Who are attractive, pretty people.
Rasco, any other questions?
Here is one from DC Marvel Fan Guy to the panel. Who do you think the main villain for Flash Season 3 will be? Personally, I wouldn't want another speedster as the main villain. I'm hoping for the rogues to be more of the focus, but I don't care.
Given what we set up, I would love Grodd to be the main bad guy.
That would actually be really interesting.
Because it would be so much more about the conversations they have, about getting into Grodd's character. It'd be a totally different challenge than just running faster.
Yeah. Because I think we've reached the limit of how many times we can just be like, we need to get even faster.
Yeah, how much
can you... But this week, even faster.
All my problems will be solved with speed.
Says anybody from the 80s.
Yeah, no, it'd be fun to have a character that isn't a speedster. I would love to have the rogues all form together, bring in Mirror Master, and do that kind of season where they're maybe just all competing to defeat the Flash, and there isn't one necessarily big bad.
That'd be a cool episode. I mean, that'd be a cool season.
Because we don't do that anymore, do we? Ever since Buffy, every season of every show I watch has a quintessential big bad. And even if a show is designed to be episodic, they always end on a weird 3 or 4 episode arc that becomes a big bad. And Buffy was always hit and miss with it, but I feel like we can move away from that at least a little, because Angel wasn't like that, aside from Wolfram and Hart.
Yes.
It'd be fun to just have episodic back and forth new characters. Just keep doing King Shark style episodes. Any other questions?
Here is one from Red Leader Antilles. I got a question. How do you think they'll do or it's a Legends of Tomorrow question, by the way.
Oh.
How do you think they will do a second season? Would they do time travel again? And what heroes and villains do you want to see? I vote for Adam Strange.
Oh, I love Adam Strange. We haven't seen him in anything since Brave and the Bold.
I would hope this isn't a time travel series all the time. Because I've heard that they're sort of doing the idea that they had for Heroes, where it would be a new crop of characters each season. Probably there'll be some characters that jump from season to season. I imagine if there's somebody really popular in this season, they'll keep them and stay on, or if they're necessary to the next story. I think Adam Strange is a good idea to do a space story. Would be a cool concept, and the idea that maybe it could be something a little bit unusual, taking the characters maybe out of their usual situations, almost like making Legends sort of. You know how DC and Marvel keep doing these event comics? Maybe these are just the event stories, just one season at a time.
That would be fantastic if Flash switched over to the whole different villain every episode thing, where Arrow and Flash just become about day-to-day heroics, and Legends becomes the event show.
Yeah.
It would solve the problems the comics have.
Yeah, they even had an event in DC back in the 80s called Legends.
Oh yeah, they did. You're right.
And let's see. So yeah, this could be like the Legends this season, Crisis, Civil War, blah blah blah, Infinity, whatever's.
It'd be fun to have, because there was rumors that Constantine would be on a second season of the show. I'd love to have him on there talking to Rip Hunter. Just because they're essentially the same person.
Oh man, a magic season would be interesting. Some kind of magic horror story.
I know we don't usually do this as much in DC, but how cool would it be to bring in Constantine, Dr. Fate, and just do like a weird interdimensional season?
That'd be cool. The possibilities are there. They could do a space season. They could be a horror, magic, infinity gateway season.
Which would be perfect to play off of Doctor Strange coming out in November.
Yeah, thinking ahead. That might be a good. I wouldn't be shocked because they've secured the rights to the Constantine character, and I don't know if they'll be able to continue using, or he was just a one-shot deal.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Lo Raska, are there any characters you want to see in subsequent seasons?
I know next to nothing about DC characters, so.
I want to see Blue Beetle or Booster Gold.
Which Blue Beetle? Ted Cord?
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
That's the one they've teased so much on the CW. There's so many Cord Industries like logos throughout the series of Arrow.
Yeah. I could go for a Justice League Island episode.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Hey, Roscoe, have you ever read that?
No.
Justice League Island is hilarious. Brewster and Beetle take money out of the Justice League funds and create a resort called Justice League Island. And it's absolutely hilarious.
There were rumors that DC was doing a Blue Beetle Booster Gold team up movie.
Yeah. They haven't confirmed that, and their official lineup doesn't have that movie. But I would just love a Blue Beetle Booster Gold TV show. They're kind of like weekly sitcom characters. That
would be so cool. Throw the question in there. A three team up. Just throw in the question.
That would be so much fun. That would be one of the best ways to counterbalance that to counterbalance all the TV shows Marvel's got, because this would bring a whole lot more diversity into it. Plus, just doing superhero comedies. We haven't done that aside from Guardians, really.
Yeah, and DC does have a planned sitcom or something.
Yeah, they do. And the guy from Community, Alan Tudyk, and one other actress, I can't remember who off the top of my head, are already cast in that show.
What? That's fantastic.
Yeah, so I mean, it's got a good cast already.
Which guy from Community?
Abed. Danny something. What's his name?
What? Danny Pudi? That is fantastic. Oh, man. I had no idea this was happening. I'm really excited.
I am too. I love Abed. Abed was my favorite part of that show, so I can't wait to see more.
He's fantastic.
And Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk is like one of my favorite actors. Oh, man. I'm going to look into that.
Seeing both of those guys on screen together will be fantastic, so I'm excited for that show. Rasco, do you see any other main show questions? If not, maybe we could just go on to open forum, because there isn't a lot else to talk about this week.
Yeah, we should probably just go on to open forum, because there's just like a bunch of
movie speculation and such.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Let's find an exciting question, something with lots of daylight losing time energy.
Guys, throw some stuff out here. Put your questions in the chat. Hurry. Everybody's...
Yeah. Everybody put something down. Just any question whatsoever.
It doesn't even have to make sense.
Yep. What kind of pizza? That's a good question.
Okay. Never mind.
I see the question you were about to read.
Here, well.
Oh, okay. Here's one. Okay, this is from Nero Cole. Spidey's costume thoughts. Thank you. This is a good question.
Cool. Who wants
I
to
really
first?
like it. It's awesome.
I would take that question. I think it looks quite good. I like the eyes, and they gave us a little narrowing of the eyes, which I think is the first time I've seen that in a Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
It definitely has, I don't know, maybe like a 70s Spider-Man vibe.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Cap said, yeah.
And yeah, since since yeah, a lot of the movies have been kind of copying sort of the either Todd McFarlane or John Romita eras. So it's kind of a cool look. His voice is so young sounding. I found myself a little jarred by it. It's like, wait, I'm used to 30-year-olds playing teenager Peter Parker. So that was like, oh wow, he actually sounds like a kid. So yeah, it's an exciting trailer, and his entry is just, you can see the bomb it dropped all over the internet.
And just calling him Underoos.
Oh, that's so funny. I love it.
I've seen so many people on the internet that don't, and I've talked to people like just in real life who for some reason don't understand what Tony Stark is saying when he says that. They're like, what is he saying? They're like, Underoos, what? And I'm like,
oh man,
even
I don't understand what he's saying. He's saying Underoos, like
Underoos.
Even Jeremy Johns in his like trailer reaction, he's
yes.
like, I think he says on the roof, and like you just have to scroll down in the top most like voted comment. It's Underoos, Jeremy.
It's like, I don't understand. How do people not understand that? Like,
yeah, because I have to wonder like how much of a generational thing is that? My generation grew up with Underoos, but how many were kids read? Did kids have them in the last couple of generations? I've only seen them recently come back.
I remember them being a thing when I was really, really young, but not since then.
Because when I was a kid, I used to make little costumes with my Underoos. Like, this is me.
You have pictures.
You just have that ready. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You knew that was going to come up tonight. So.
No, it did not. It's right into my desk.
Oh my gosh, look at you with your little shield.
Yeah, I actually, hey, want to see something cool?
It's still there.
No.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's always with me.
Oh my god. He knew this was going to come up.
I love the knee-high socks, too.
Yeah, red, white, and blue. And, let's see, here's my Iron Man.
That's awesome.
I made that out of, paper plates. And I wish I got a better picture of it. I really did some detail on that thing. And I have one more.
I love that he has this stuff.
I know.
Yeah,
That was crazy.
Totally prepared.
Wow.
Manos just exists in an infinite void where everything is there.
Okay. Here is me as Batman.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And let's see. I had one for Robin, but I couldn't do them both at the same time. So here's my Ralph the dog puppet with me. Let's see. There we go. Let's one more shot of it. I have another phone.
That's so cool.
Were you just like a collector of Underoos? Goodness.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I bought a lot. Well, I mean, look, as a kid, there wasn't. God, you walk into Target in Halloween, and the costumes look great. They're nice and detailed. We didn't have that when I was a kid. So the Underoos thing looked really good, and I was really happy with that towel cape. My mom actually helped me with that belt. So, yeah.
Wait, did you already mention this? But is that a Rolf the dog dressed up as the Muppet Rolf? That's amazing.
Yeah, there you go. You can get another shot of that.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I suddenly need a superhero Muppets movie. I suddenly need that right now.
Well, hey, Disney owns the Muppets and Marvel.
I know.
That could happen. That's not an unreasonable request.
And with Lego Batman coming out, that would be perfect. Oh my gosh. I work for Disney. I got to be able to get this to somebody that matters and just be like, okay, guys.
I am almost shocked we haven't had a crossover in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. With Marvel and the Muppets. That could happen.
That show has been so funny. Has anybody else been watching it?
Yes,
I absolutely love that show.
I loved it. I'm a huge fan of the Muppets though, so I don't know that it would necessarily land for everybody, but I thought it was just hilarious. And Piggy as a talk show host is perfect.
That's an ingenious modern interpretation of the Muppet Show. I love Piggy as this horrible star. I love, oh god, the receptionist, the monster reception. I can't remember his name. Carl.
Yes, who just like yells.
Oh my god, I love Carl.
Like, just everything. All the stuff. Rizzo is my favorite Muppet, and he's been sort of shafted as of late. Like he hasn't really been in like the Muppet movies. So seeing him on the show this much has made me so happy. Like him and Pepe just hanging out. Love
I'm
it.
gonna buy that season on DVD as soon as it hits. It's so good. I keep rewatching those episodes every week.
Yeah.
So good. Rasco, any questions?
This is from Masked Sci-Fi Fan. What are your thoughts on Finn and Poe possibly having a romance in Episode 8?
All of the yes.
Yes.
I would totally be up for that.
I would so be okay with that.
Followed our Twitter, of course.
Yeah, like come on. I'm all about Storm Pilot. I just bought a Poe shirt today. I'm really excited.
Oh, that's cool. Poe Dameron's fantastic. Finn is hilarious. They need to stay together. They're awesome. I would not mind that one bit.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Be great.
Great.
Any other questions? We still got lots of time.
This is from Timer Muggo. The Luke Cage Netflix show has been announced for September 30th.
Woo.
Yeah.
That's cool. I know Marvel wants to
Time
put
for
out...
my birthday.
Oh, that's awesome. You get Luke Cage for your birthday. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know Marvel announced earlier that they want to have a new season of these shows out every 6 months. So between March to September, yeah. So they're really good about that. That's hard to believe that they're able to coordinate it that well.
Man, that's going to be so awesome.
Right?
Do we have any other Netflix shows that have been announced, or is it just those three?
We know Iron Fist is coming. They just cast the actor.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So we have those 4, and I almost guarantee you we're going to get some version of The Punisher after Season 2 airs. And we're still getting Defenders, apparently. So we still have lots of more Netflix possibilities. I know lots of people are pushing for Moon Knight.
Yeah, apparently they said something like confirming that they are doing something for Moon Knight and that it was not a movie. That's what they said.
If it's not a movie, it's got to be Netflix then, right?
So,
Unless they're doing
yeah.
it on TV.
So, But I would hope that it would be a Netflix thing. That would be so cool.
Yeah,
I would go nuts because especially if they pattern it after Warren Ellis's recent run on Moon Knight, which was brilliant, and I loved every issue of that.
Yeah, that run is fantastic, and Moon Knight's such a quintessential Doug Monk character. Even if you went back to some of his stuff, that'd be great. So that's exciting.
I just did, because I'm me and I'm still very new to comics, I just did a quick Google search. Is Moon Knight literally just Batman but in all white?
Kind of.
That's what it sort of looks like to me when I'm looking at all these pictures.
So
kind of started that way, yeah.
Okay.
The idea is basically he's insane and rich, like Batman.
Okay.
So he decides to go out and fight crime and beating up criminals, like Batman. But the difference is that he has multiple personalities.
Yeah, he's actually crazy.
Yeah,
that's cool.
There's a really interesting run by Brian Bendis where he makes all the personalities different superheroes. So, like, parts of the time he's Wolverine, parts of the time he's Captain America. It's really interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's a fantastic character.
He has a cool costume.
He does.
He looks like vaguely bird-like with the point in his hood.
Mm-hmm.
And he oftentimes cameos in Spider-Man games.
He does, yeah.
Oh, that's fun. God, there's just, and the fact that he's connected to ancient Egypt.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of Blue Beetle mixed with like the Question.
There's a lot of Question in him, especially the Warren Ellis run. I can't think. I feel like my favorite thing is when he takes on some ghosts and they can beat him, but he can't touch them because they're ghosts. So he goes and gets ghost armor with this ancient Egyptian ghost armor, and it looks literally old, like it's thousands of years old, and he beats the crap out of them, and it's amazing.
If anyone's interested in picking up Moon Knight stuff, the Warren Ellis run is definitely the way to go. But then there's also the Bendis runs in collections, and Marvel does these new Epic collections that collects lots of stuff like this. And the first few appearances by Moon Knight have all been collected in that format.
There's a nice,
it's all easy access.
Yeah, there's also I think their essentials are still available, where they're just in black and white.
Are those still in print?
I feel like they're still easy to find. I occasionally pick one up. The Moon Knight in black and white looks actually pretty decent because there's a lot of black and white in the book anyway. So, and Bill Sienkiewicz worked on that book a lot.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, so if you can read the essentials, I think ultimately that'd be the way to go, if not Warren Ellis' stuff. Rasco, any other questions?
This is from Senor Nerd. What are your plans for this Friday when Daredevil Season 2 is out?
Wake up at 3 a.m. and watch it all in 13 hours.
I see you doing that.
I've done that for the other two. So.
I am not going to do that. I am going to watch them when I can.
I'm certainly not waking up at 3 a.m., but I do have that day off. I have the weirdest schedule. I have Thursday, Friday off, and then I work Saturday, and then I have Sunday, Monday off, so
weird.
I'll probably get it done over the weekend.
I might like wake up and really early. I'll probably at least watch a couple episodes as soon as I can, like as soon as possible, but I don't know if I'll watch them all immediately.
It'll be an interesting experience. I know we're all going to do a spoiler cast for that, and we won't do it the weekend it comes out because not everyone's going to finish the whole thing right away. But that will be coming sometime. I'm not sure if it'll be the week after either because we got Batman vs Superman right after that.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy couple of weeks.
Yeah, so we're probably going to have those two things line up back to back or maybe like week to week. But those spoiler casts are coming. Okay, Rasco, any other questions?
AMC Comics says, is the panel aware of the rumors concerning Young Justice getting a third season on Netflix?
Yes. Essentially, that show came back to Netflix, and the idea is everyone's going to keep streaming it, and someone asked Netflix about picking the show up for a third season, and Netflix responded by saying they're trying to get the rights from DC, and they're evaluating how well it does, and they might give it a third season. So it's a legitimate possibility now. It's not even a rumor. Which is fine. I'd be happy to see more of that. Season 2 was awful, but you can recover because they thought they were getting canceled, and they did. Any other questions or any other comments?
There were leaked photos of like the set of Episode 8. Did you guys see them and look at them?
Oh, I didn't.
No, I didn't. I didn't even hear about that.
Do you guys want to see them? Somebody should put them in the chat really quick.
If someone can find them, go ahead and put them in the chat.
Are they interesting looking set pics, or are they just like...
They just show some like aliens, and you just get to see some of the costumes.
I love that they're still doing that, by the way, that they actually have alien costumes.
Yeah.
It just looks so cool.
Yeah, it just looks more authentic. I mean, I was so happy when that news came out that they were going to be using practical mixed with CGI for that.
Yeah, the fact that they built a Millennium Falcon and all that. Like, I love seeing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's gotta be really cool. Do you guys see the link in the blue chat?
Yes.
StarWarsUnderworld.com.
Spoiler alert, obviously. Oh, this looks interesting. I really like these clothes.
Yeah.
This might... Oh, wow, that alien looks awesome. He looks kind of like Doctor Who-y.
Yeah.
I like it's about like halfway down. It looks like there's some sort of like white tie or black tie event, but like Star Wars version, and everybody's wearing like white gloves.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's
pretty cool. And that's something that I don't think we've really ever seen in Star Wars before.
Yeah, outside of Expanded Universe, and Expanded Universe just draws them like wearing normal suits, but a little bit less detailed. So this is really nice, yeah.
That's cool and like unique.
Yeah, that's cool. That's exciting. Episode 8 comes out next December, and we got Rogue One this December, so it's going to be great for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Any other questions? We'll do a couple more, and then we'll call it a night.
This is from Chain Smoking Chaos. Is anyone else on the panel as excited for Doctor Strange as I am? I feel like this will be a game changer, and the cast is perfect.
I don't know how excited you are, so I can't really compare.
Yeah, that notwithstanding, I am really excited for that movie. I've currently been reading through the Essential Doctor Strange stuff, and it's so good. So I'm excited. That costume looks amazing.
Yeah.
He looks great. I can't wait. Doctor Strange is one of those characters that has earned a film or a show or something like that. So this looks fun. And it's also One of the things I'm excited about is it's a little bit of a divergence from a lot of the main Marvel stuff. When I'm happy that Marvel is doing that, with Guardians of the Galaxy, for example. And
I also like that they're picking characters and properties that don't necessarily have like seminal runs. Like there are a group of people that define this character before there's one person like Daredevil, Frank Miller. So seeing Doctor Strange is not just going to be like one version. It's going to be an amalgam of everything that makes that character interesting. Like he wasn't Sorcerer Supreme until Steve Englehart showed up. So just by the nature of making him that in the movie, you're going to have to deal from lots of different eras.
So we can't wait.
Yeah, it's exciting. Benedict Cumberbatch is one of my favorite actors, so this will be fun. One more question. So the best question you can possibly find, the greatest question that's ever been asked on Primetime Crisis.
Oh my God. Well.
And we promise to mock it and blow it off like it's
nothing. We won't even answer it, but just ask it.
The question is, this question's kind of laughable, but I'm sorry. This is from Soundwave71. To the panel, how do you feel about Firefly being established in the DC Extended Universe in the Batman v Superman comics?
I wish I could do the screen share thing and play a clip without getting copyright flagged, but I would have picked the Futurama clip where the aliens are like, I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
Well, there you go.
I mean, Firefly's fine. It's cool.
Are you talking about the TV show or that character?
No, the character.
Oh.
I assume. He didn't make it clear, but I assume it's the character.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good.
Wait, I thought that he would have been talking about the show.
Because that would be...
Because Firefly, the character, is always a part of DC.
Yeah, so that's not
DC
exactly...
character. That's not a thing. Like, yeah. I'm pretty sure you must have been talking about the show.
So is there a comic
of
Batman vs. Superman where Firefly, the TV show, just randomly pops up? That's actually kind of...
I thought there was like a comic book that came out of like a cereal box that had like a Batman v Superman like prequel comic that had Firefly in it.
The show or the character?
The character.
Okay, the character.
I thought that's what it was talking about because
Okay.
I heard that.
If it's the character, I don't care. If it's the show, that's awesome.
This is exactly like that conversation about Rodin. Are you talking about the monster or the artist?
Yeah, exactly. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the poll results. But thanks, everybody, for joining us. Another slower week, but that will change when Arrow and stuff comes back, I imagine. Okay.
Quick, favorite Godzilla monster right before the poll.
While you're Mechagodzilla.
Biollante.
Gigan.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I've seen like 2 Godzilla movies, and both of them are the modern ones. So,
Oh.
Godzilla.
Godzilla's an answer. He's a Godzilla monster.
That's true. I don't know about you guys, but Mechagodzilla was pretty brutal when I was a kid. Like, that movie
Mechagodzilla is
freaked me out.
awesome. Yeah.
Poll results. So, it turns out that before the show started, we had a guess as to what will win, and we were wrong. Legends of Tomorrow has 33% of the vote. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has 17. Lucifer has 0. Walking Dead is 0. But Gotham wins the day with 50%.
Whoa.
Whoa.
A new day has dawned for Gotham.
I'm proud of them for not just, like, wow, I'm proud of our audience right now for breaking out of the CW rut.
And picking an episode that is legitimately better than some of the other stuff. Now, not better than Walking Dead, perhaps, but...
Nah,
okay.
but I don't think everybody that tunes in here watches The Walking Dead, so
That's true.
I'll just say it's because nobody watches it, just like I do with iZombie every week.
That's true. But no, good on you guys for picking Gotham. I'm glad people are sticking with it, I think. So, thanks everybody for watching. This has been lots of fun and very, very, not necessarily different, but the dynamic's a little odder because Captain Logan's on here. He is still on break. He is trying to manage lots of weird interwarfare between us since we're all trying to take over. So it's not really a break, but that's okay. He's kind of like our World Security Council because we can only go so far with our armies of trying to take over. So we'll see you guys next time and with other videos this week. And signing off, we have the Real Manos. We have Curious Low.
Good night, everyone.
We have Rasco.
Peace out, everybody.
And we have me, and you know me. So see you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.